Time now to answer a viewer email. Recently somebody wrote in and asked what was the best shade tree to add to your property to help give you shade and reduce energy costs on your home. I would prefer a deciduous tree because in the winter it will let some of the sunlight in, and in the summer grow some big thick leaves to give you some dense shade. Now, we actually have mulberry trees planted on the east and south side of our property here, and they literally shade the whole yard and a good portion of the house in the summertime. But a deciduous tree that you could use also would be a mesquite if you have more of a desert landscape, because they'll lose their leaves in the winter and give you fairly dense shade in the summertime. Or you could use a Dalbergia sissu. You want any type of tree that's going to provide a nice big canopy like a large umbrella to shade your house and reduce your energy costs. Even though the climate here in Clarkdale is a little bit different than Phoenix, the process for having a great vegetable garden is still the same. You have to start with great compost. Now, I use a 3-bin system here. I've got my starter bin, my second bin, and my finish bin. And you want to do that because this material will decompose and you want to keep moving it along so you can keep adding to the starter bin. You want to make sure that you put your compost in layers. Green layer, dry layer, green layer, wet it down with your hose, keep it moist if you can, and then you can come in here and pull some really great material out of it. You can use newspaper for your green layers, for your dry layers if you want, but great dry leaves are a great thing to have on hand, because if you're going to put your kitchen scraps in there and you don't want to attract flies or have some smell, you want to top them with one of those dry layers. Now, let me show you what you get out of this compost. If I just shovel out of the bottom of this bin and just kind of sift it, and I've got a wheelbarrow here and a little screen, and these grubs, my chickens are just going to go crazy over these. Great protein for them, and actually they've helped in the compost bin to break the material down. And you can see what happens by sifting is I'm taking all the bigger sticks and the rocks and stuff out. Throw one more shovel in here. And this screen is just something I made, put together with a couple old boards and a piece of hardware cloth. And this is the material you're going to get. You can't buy mulch like this. It'd be nice if you could, because this works really great in your garden. Now let me show you what results I get and how I use it. Now, I find the best way to do your vegetable garden is some type of a raised bed. Whether you take landscape timbers like this, or you use some containers, or some metal, or even doing mounds. On our property, it tends to grow rocks. So, the more we go up, the easier it is to plant. Now, what we've done in these beds is we've filled them with that really rich compost that you just saw, and the plants really thrive in that environment. This is actually the last vestiges of our winter garden. We've got some spinach, we've got some kale, I've got some cilantro, we've got a killer artichoke going that's been going now for about 4 or 5 years. I actually got 40 artichokes off of that guy last summer. And we'll get ready, now that the weather's finally changing, to go ahead and put our seedlings in, which I've got in another area just starting to sprout, into this garden for all of our summer crop. Up next, do you have old stuff laying around the house or your garage? We'll show you how to recycle them into a sustainable yard. That's next on Step Outside.